Thanks for joining me. This is Angie at ChicnScratch. This is the project we're making today. This is week 9 of the 12 weeks of Halloween. Here are the supplies. Basic black cardstock that measures 8.5 by 2 3/4. Spooky Night Designer Series paper that measures 2.5 by 3.5. Scraps of Very Vanilla and scraps of basic black. Okay. You can get 3 of these out of 1 sheet of cardstock, okay? So I've gone ahead and cut that to measure 8.5 by 2 3/4. Place it on your Simply Scored scoring tool, and you're going to score it at 3 3/4 and 4 3/4. Okay? Next, get our Designer Series paper. What you're going to do is add your treat on the inside. You can either staple it to the inside or not staple it. I don't like to staple it, so that way they can just slide the candy out. Okay? It depends on whatever you want to do. So add your candy or not add your candy. At this point, you can take your stapler and staple it closed. And then you're going to add your Designer Series paper. In the years past, sometimes I staple over the Designer Series paper because then I add some ribbon on top of the staple. This time, I'm just completely covering the staple with my paper. You can decorate the back side too if you want to. Next, I'm going to take the Vintage Crochet Trim. And I'm just going to add this to the front. I'm just going to tie a bow. I'm so sad that this is the end of the 12 weeks of Halloween. This is week 9, so I got 3 more weeks to go with 1 week left to do it. I apologize for being so behind. I swear, life just never stops. It's the continuous roller coaster, you know? Okay. I don't want to waste this, even though we're at the end of the season. I could use it for something else. Okay, I'm just going to trim the end, and then I'll clean it up after we get our image on here. So I'll slide that aside, and I'm going to use the Merry Little Labels stamp set. I have used this image for so much. I used it for downline gifts. I used it for the adhesive bundles. So I'm going to not color it, but I'm going to stamp it with Memento ink because I'm using the new Stampin' Blends. They will be available on November 1st. You're going to love them, so I'm just saying. While that's drying, because we are going to color it with the pumpkin blend, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the little bat. You don't have to do this if you don't have these framelits, but since I do have them, I'm going to use them. So it's the seasonal tags. You know, it goes with that awesome set, Seasonal Chums. And here's the bat. So I'm going to get my Big Shot. I'm going to cut him out. Okay, so here's the Big Shot. I got a platform, cutting pad, basic black cardstock, and the little bat. Bring all this back over here. Here's my little bat. I'm going to put the framelit back on there so I don't lose them. Now let's color. Like I said, these are going to be available on November 1st. I would maybe ask for them for Christmas if you're on a limited budget. You will want the whole set. They are quite lovely. And we have several stamp sets, you know, that the blends would work really well with. So I've kind of ignored those sets since we didn't have them. But now that we do have our alcohol markers, I can start using those sets. Okay, I went outside the line a little bit, but oh well. Y'all know I can't see worth a hoot. I'm going to take the Everyday Label Punch and cut this out. I'm just trying to center it. Okay. Now, to add it to our container, I'm just going to add it with a glue dot. So you could have tied it on here with some of the baker's twine. I'm just going to add it with a glue dot. Glue dots work for me. Okay, so I'm just going to slide that right under there. And then I do want to trim the tails of my trim here. There we go. And then now we're going to add our little bat. You can add him with a dimensional or you can add him with a glue dot. If you wad up the glue dot just a tad, it kind of makes it a little bumpy, if that makes sense. Almost like a dimensional, but not. You can bring up his wings like he's flying. Okay, so that wraps up week number 9. Have a great day. Thanks a lot.